I'm sure the vast majority of my audience has found a way to celebrate some kind of a Christian-ish-like holiday today, even though to this day I have yet to find chapter and verse on it in my Bible. Back in 1984, I got a brand spanking new King James Bible from my grandparents, and I still have it today, and not one word in it has changed. But strangely enough, since that time, morality in this country has changed wildly. There were things that were wrong then that are right now. There were things that were right then that are wrong now. So what does that tell you about morality and the Bible? They don't have anything to do with each other. Now, as I have been promising for the last, probably a week or so, there's a brand new video now, just live a few hours ago, over at Patreon that talks about this, and we go into it in detail. And it's going to challenge a lot of preconceived notions. Because we show 50 years ago in detail, we show 150 years ago in detail, 500 years ago, and we even go back all the way to Bible times. And we show how morality is entirely divorced from what the Bible says. And if you don't believe me, by all means, it'll be worth your $1, because that's all it costs. $1 per month, not per video, not per day, not per hour. $1. You can go over there, sample all the videos you want for an entire month. You can do that for 3 straight months. And after 3 straight months, if it's not for you, the $3 you spent, fully refundable. No questions asked. Trust me, there are things over there you're definitely going to want to see. And down in the comment section, you'll see people that will attest to this. We don't do videos over there daily. They're usually every 7 to 10 days, sometimes a little bit longer. But trust me, the amount of effort and time that goes into those videos is very different. And the subject matter is adult. It's meant for adults. Adults only. That's why we have a paywall. So would love to have you over there. God bless. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day regardless of what you're doing. Now, just as a teaser, while the Bible hasn't changed, song lyrics have. How many of you remember the song Fancy, originally done by Bobby Gentry, and then, of course, by Reba McEntire? These are screenshots from the videos from the 90s. But what if I told you they changed the lyric to make it radio-friendly, and the original lyric had a very different number for the age of the girl? Now, that's all I can say. That's how controversial it is. And I have proof for this, by the way. I'm not just making this up. I'm not just making this number up. There's proof. And that's actually in the song when you read the lyrics critically. Now, also, I want to give a big shout out to Lisa Haven, Justice Knight. They do the same thing for me on their channel, so I definitely want to return the favor. They have a brand new channel. They deal a lot with very serious topics going on in the world, and we're going to here today as well. But not everything needs to be so serious. In this most recent installment of We're Forked Up, they go to a place, beers, burgers, buns, and cold beers and cheeseburgers, and they just sit around and goof on each other and laugh and have a good time and sample these restaurants in their local area over there. And it's really a fun thing to be part of. So anyway, would love to have you guys go over there, give them a like, give them a subscribe. It's definitely a great departure. So Justice Knight, Lisa Haven, well done. They add in, of course, some different funny things into their video. They do some editing to make it a little bit more comedic. So anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. And of course, this is the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. I just wanted to give you guys a real quick heads up. If you go to the Patreon channel and you see these little buttons across the top when you arrive there that says Maquis Masters, Roundtable, and all these different prices, none of these buttons work. These are deprecated buttons from an old version of Patreon that they deleted the tool you would need to delete them off your page. So just ignore that. Everything is, in fact, $1 per month for everything. So anyway, in real and other news, there is a billionaire now who has come out and said basically the quiet part out loud. And he's a big crypto guy. He's a billionaire. He's got a very long name. I don't want to butcher it. Chamath Palahapatia, I hope I got that right, calls trend of de-dollarization a huge nothing burger. Here's why. I'm sure a lot of people are like, wait a minute, Lord Maki, all these countries, they're dropping the dollar and we're going to collapse. And that's only part of the equation. There's something else that has to happen besides them just dropping the dollar. And it's tied to cryptocurrency. It's the reason cryptocurrency did not gain in value because of acceptance. It gained in value because of speculation. Now, he outlines this perfectly. Quote, this whole thing is a huge nothing burger. This is the third deal China has done. The other two countries, Pakistan and Russia. And the reason why is I've seen a lot of people on Twitter now breathlessly rambling on de-dollarization and all this stuff. And I think if any of these people would think from first think, not feel, from first principles, the first thing that you would know is that the yuan is pegged to the US dollar. It is denominated in dollars, just like cryptocurrencies are. That's why when you go look to see how much is my cryptocurrency worth today, what does it say? My Bitcoin is worth ABC dollars. My blah, blah, blah is worth ABC dollars. When you go to the grocery store, every single thing that has a tag on it is tagged in what? In dollars, that's right. And so long as it is pegged, whether you trade through the US dollar or you don't, and you directly go to yuan, you're indexed to the dollar. Then you use a dollar swap to convert it to the currency you need. So one way or the other, it's not going to matter until they unpeg their currencies from the world reserve currency, which is the dollar, and that's when things will go haywire. You see, that's really the key. What a lot of people don't get. Now, we're going to kind of jump back in the Wayback Machine here to try to put two ideas together that I hope I can do this. We have a world full of currencies that are all pegged to one currency, which basically is saying that the value of all things are determinant upon the value of this one thing, the US dollar, not gold, not anything else. You see, the Bretton Woods, what they did at Bretton Woods is they figured out that, you know what, we can't control all of the world's gold. So we can't have a currency pegged to gold because someone else could just find a huge vein of gold in their territory somewhere, and all of a sudden they'd be the richest country in the world. You see, just like if you dug up a huge giant nugget of gold, okay, that'd be wonderful. You could convert it to a whole bunch of dollars, but you wouldn't have any wealth at all. You would have no wealth at all until you converted that gold into dollars. You couldn't go chip off all chunks and flakes and stuff like that and go negotiate it anywhere. Whoever accepted it, you might be able to get people to accept it with them having the idea that perhaps they could do something with it to convert it back to dollars. But one way or the other, the wealth won't be expressed until it's in dollars. Now, what does this have to do with Pharaoh? Pharaoh, the biblical Pharaoh and beyond, they claimed ownership of all things of value within their realm. See, they acted as if they were God. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. That's what the Bible says, right? Well, Pharaoh said, no, in my realm, everything belongs to me. Now, not even Caesar did that. None of the Caesars, they claimed the right to govern, but they didn't claim personal ownership of every single thing in the Roman Empire. However, Pharaoh, because he saw himself as God, claimed ownership of everything. Kind of like what the US dollar is doing today. The US dollar is acting as if it's God, because everything is denominated in it as far as value. Now, recently we have seen the Saudi royal family, which is about as close as you get to Pharaoh, make overtures that they're no longer interested in pleasing the United States, and they have begun negotiating with China and working with Iran. I don't think a lot of people realize the significance of this biblically, or what would happen, or how wealthy the Saudis really are. Some people think that, here's a CIA complaint, U.S. blindsided by Saudi outreach to Syria and Iran. The Saudi royal family is worth 5 times more than Elon Musk and Bill Gates combined. That's right. You would need 5 Elon Musks and 5 Bill Gateses, and you put together all of that wealth, and the Saudi royal family would still be worth more. They're worth in the trillions. That's how powerful they are. The House of Saud comprises 15,000 people. What's noteworthy is only 2,000 possess the majority of the wealth, which is estimated to be around 1.4 trillion. And even fewer play active roles in politics and government. To put things in perspective, the House of Saud is a whopping 16 times richer than the British royal family, which is worth 88 billion. Now that should make some people sit back for a minute. They have yachts that have saltwater swimming pools. No lie, this yacht, inside it, has its own saltwater swimming pool. Imagine that for just one moment. $400 million. 439 feet long, giant, 2 helipads, a snow room, children's playrooms, underwater viewing room, and the $450 million Salvator Mundi, which is a picture of Jesus Christ, in the spectacular Serene Luxury Yacht. It's absolutely insane how wealthy these people are. They are, in essence, I mean, when people fly around in America in private jets, they're little bitty things. They fly around in jets that are big enough to house hundreds of people. A member of the Saudi royal family once purchased individual seats for each of his 80 Falcons. He booked an entire UAE flight simply for his Falcons. Gold-plated cars, real gold. I mean, they are just absolutely beyond the pale. So if you want to talk about who's really in charge, it ain't the Chinese. Because this amount of power, this amount of money, and the oil, this lines up a lot more with biblical prophecy than the Chinese do, as far as who's going to come to power. And I'll leave with this. I don't want to take up your whole day. There is a very strange dynamic about a story in the Bible that not a lot of people get. And it has to do with Samson, and it has to do with Jonah. Samson wasn't punished for having relations with Delilah out of wedlock. Samson was punished for allowing something to happen that he was supposed to be diligent over. See, he just allowed something to happen. He didn't allow it on purpose. It happened to him unawares. Who remembers recently we talked about the Patriot Nurse did a video talking about Sisera and Yael, how the man fell asleep and was caught unaware, and he got a tent spike in the head. Now Jonah, you could argue, didn't want to be part of anything. Jonah fled when God commanded him to do something. Jonah was like, look, I don't want to be against you, God. I don't want to be for you. I just want to be left alone. I want to do my own thing. I want to be neutral. I want to be out of the fray, so to speak. And what do we know of Jonah? 3 days in the belly of the whale, and then came back, repented, and then did what God asked. See, sometimes we don't have the luxury of sitting on the sidelines. We don't have the luxury of saying, well, I didn't technically do anything bad, but if we allow bad things to happen in our presence, we can be punished anyway. Just like Sisera. He fought the best battle he could. He retreated. He went someplace he thought was safe and he fell asleep. And for that, it cost him his life. Samson didn't personally cut his own hair. Samson didn't go to a barber and say, hey, give me this really cool look that's popular today. It was done against his will and while he was sleeping. So I think this is something that, with what we're facing in this country, we can learn from. That just staying out of the fray isn't going to be good enough. Just trying to be neutral and saying, well, I'm not going to get involved too much with this, but I'm definitely not going to get involved against it either. The Bible describes in the last days the Laodicean church. Lukewarm. I will spew thee out of my mouth, it says. I would that thou wert hot or that thou wert cold. But because you're this lukewarm kind of fluid, I will get rid of you. I will basically vomit you up. And that's this whole sitting on the sidelines, riding the fence kind of thing. Nobody's going to have that ability. So, anyway, I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.